I mean, I've never really had to apply for a job, so like when you get that good, like people end up knowing who you are, what kind of work that you do.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. And today we're going to be talking about how you can master the art of networking. And our special guest today to help us unlock this superpower is no other than Stephen Orefice. Hey Stephen.
Hey, what's up, Nye? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so
Well,
much for being here today.
I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to be on the show.
Yes. So, Stephen has actually been a master network for the last 10 years. And this has allowed him to land some prestigious job positions in different organizations. So, Stephen, when I was talking about this topic to some of my peers, they were wondering, what is a master network? They didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think it's really cool that we are here talking about how to master networking, which is really important. And the first question I have today, Stephen, is what is networking?
Yeah, great question. Master networking is really vital to your career, especially today in the environment that we're in. I would say networking, it's the action or process of interacting with others to exchange info and develop personal and professional contacts. So it's that integration of communicating with somebody, generating feelings, getting to know somebody, and then either generating business from that or a friendship, and both, where personal meets professional. Which I'm a big advocate of. So that's something that I've strived for in the last 10 years.
Interesting. Stephen, so would you say that networking is important?
Well, no, it's important because number one, it provides you opportunities that you may have never had, right? So, like you're coming across people that have networks of their own, and whether your products or services fit into that is up to you on how you approach that. But you can literally walk into new job opportunities. You can help other people get jobs right through that, or make friendships, or get a needed service that you're looking for a referral on. And go through your trusted network. So the education aspect of dealing with people that may be higher than you, right? Like in management roles, or something that you aspire to be. So I was a big advocate of that early on in my career, because I kind of knew where I wanted to go, but I wanted to surround myself with people that were doing better than me, and try to level up my game and create good habits in the workplace. So networking can create many different things, as long as you're open to that, right? So that's the big thing that we're going to get into.
Right. Now, previously you mentioned personal and professional networking. So what
Yeah.
is the difference between the two of them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I connect both of the dots together, right? But I think you do need to, with the personal side, right, before you do business with anybody, you need to be able to create that personal relationship before you create that know, like, and trust from that other person. So I see too many people today, and in my 10-year sales career in marketing, go after the business right away, right? So, and that's a huge mistake early on. Hopefully those people learn it. But as you get better, and as you work on your networking game, right? It's like anything else. You got to put the time in, the practice in. I'm an athlete, so I'm a baseball player and a coach. You got to put the time in, but you need to understand that the relationship comes first, and I'm relational over transactional. So I know the transactions will come, and I always lead with the relationship. So you need to really seriously sit back. Number one, you need to listen, and you need to create that relationship so you gain trust from that other person. So you're not going into it with a me mentality. It's how can I help you mentality. And that's something I developed over the last 10 years, and it's done wonders for me, and and the key word is authentic, right? So, you can go and you can fake it, but the better of them and the master networkers actually are authentic, and they do truly enjoy giving back. And that's something that I take pride in, and helping other people level up their game. And I know it's going to come back tenfold, when the timing is right. So that's important.
And then now that we've distinguished what is personal and professional networking, how do we actually do this? How do we actually go about networking in person and then also virtually?
Yeah, great question. And I think, today it's changed, right, with the pandemic and everything going on. But you have your in person versus the virtual. So we'll start with in person. Number one, you need to have confidence, right? So being uncomfortable in a networking situation is actually a good thing, so don't feel awkward. I mean, there was many times I was there and it was rough. I wanted to turn around and go home when I got to the event or the venue. But I just pushed myself, and I said, after a few times, you just get more and more comfortable. So approaching people is number one. So if you're going to go to a networking event in person, can't be scared to talk to people, right? So that's number one. Maybe pick one or two people that you want to go talk to just casually while you're grabbing a drink or you're getting ready for dinner, whatever the event is, if there's a game or something like that. What I would recommend is just look around and try to find out what that person's into, what they're wearing, right? What kind of jewelry they have, or notice something that you can relate to. If you're an earring person, hey, Jenny, I love your earrings. Where'd you get them? So just start the conversation off comfortably, and like I said, not jumping into business is really important, because then the more you get to know them, you're gonna gauge curiosity, and they're gonna ask you, what do you do? And that's the value you want to get to, is when you're not really talking about yourself, you're talking about them. And at the end of the day, people love talking about themselves. So let them talk about themselves, right? Like, we all like talking about, what we're involved in, what we're passionate about. And the beautiful thing about social media, right? Like, if I'm going to an event, I'm doing research before I go on some of those people that are going to be there. And you can look on LinkedIn, you can look on Facebook, you can find out if they're into pets, sports, what's their, what are they into business wise, and find out some of their passions, and you can go in with, some educated background about them before you even, say hello to them, which is, good information to have. So I would just say, be genuine, approach people, don't be scared, maybe show up with somebody that you're friends with, right? Show up with somebody, so it's not so, you're not so timid or you're not so uncomfortable. This way they make you feel comfortable when you walk in, so you're not alone. But don't go, I do want to say, don't go with your best friend, right? Because then you can get caught up just bull crapping with them the whole time. You know what I mean? And not mixing in where you should be mixing in with others. That's why you went there, right? You should be leaving that event with at least 3 business cards. That's always my rule, is get 3 people's contact information to set up a meeting afterwards on your own time, one-to-one, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's in person for coffee, or grab lunch, or reach out to them after the fact online, via email. So grab 3 contacts if you go to an event. That should be your goal before you go home. Again, make sure you ask about them, collect their business card. As soon as you leave that event, my rule is follow up with them within 24 hours. So we're in a big response-driven time period right now in the business world. So people don't like waiting, right? So follow-up is everything in networking. So those are the people that stand out from the others. So within 24 hours, I would recommend sending them a relationship card. So I use different programs where I send them a nice follow-up card to their home or to their business. You could send it through email. You could send them a handwritten letter, which the best of them do, right? I mean, that's old school mentality, which not many people do. So, the act of receiving a gift will never go away, right? So, think outside the box as far as reaching out to somebody that you really connected with in that meeting, or at that event that you really hit it off with. Let them know, you appreciated their time. You really like learning about them, and you should set up another meeting, to further that discussion. So Those would be my hints for the in-person. And don't overwhelm yourself, right? That would be my other recommendation. Like if you're just starting to get into networking, don't go to a 150 person event, right? Take your time. So maybe go to like a 10 person event, or 8 people, and then build yourself up as you gain more confidence. Then you can go to other events. And then, my mentality when I go to an event is how can I connect other people that they want to meet? So if I can connect you with somebody in that room that they need your services, right? That makes you the point person. You start gaining credibility of contacts and having a trusted network and stuff like that. So that's something too, where, you talk to 2 or 3 people and, the lady over there needs his services. You should introduce them in person and say, hey, I got to speak with both of you. You guys would be a great connection. You guys should have a conversation. So that can help some getting you comfortable and showing your skill set too, and getting more comfortable.
I know that you mentioned events. So what are the different types of events that especially young persons, maybe students, can attend to do intentional networking?
Yeah, I would say so. You got those groups out there like BNI or Master Networks, which I'm involved in. There's other local networking groups that you can get involved in. Hudson Valley Young Professionals is a great one in your area if they have one. That's a group I've been involved in or gotten involved in. Haven't been lately. Anything community based, right? So you can go to the local Chamber of Commerce, check their website out. And wherever your business is located, find out what events they hold on a monthly basis and schedule yourself in on your calendar and make sure you get to, at least 3 or 4 a month, would be my recommendation. More is better. But try to do 3 a month. My big number is 3, like I said before. But put it in your calendar. It's part of your job. It's part of getting the word out of what you do and building connections. You could do breakfast, right? You could do coffee with somebody. You can grab lunch with somebody that is a strategic alliance of yours or somebody that you trust to the fullest extent. Ask for referrals too, like, current clients. Ask to meet people that could better your business and who else would be a good introduction. Like for me, I'm in the window and door business, so I'm looking for homeowners, architects, contractors, builders, property managers. Like those are the people I want to meet, but you can get a referral from anybody. So, any of your contacts, just ask, hey, who do you think I should meet? Because those people are going to know their networks best and they'll refer you out to their people and give you a proper introduction, whether it's email, phone call, or actually go to you with a meeting and sit down with them. And then you could also do the evening events, right? Like, whether it's a happy hour or some type of fundraising event that's held after work, after 5 o'clock, or other options. So I have different websites that I monitor, like the Chamber of Commerce, my networking groups that I'm involved in, that, I'm in contractor groups, architect groups. So depending on your business, you can find them on Facebook. You can find them pretty much anywhere on Google, today. So know your ideal referral sources and play off those referral sources and find out where they spend their time. That's where you want to go to an event because they're going to be an ideal client. So you can go ahead and meet those certain connections that could change your future.
Thank you for that. And then just to touch on, I know before you touched on in-person networking, so just to touch on virtually, because now we're not able to go to these actual events. So I know some of the events have moved from being in person to online, but where can persons go and look for these virtual events?
Yeah, so another good question. And I've gotten good at virtual over the last year because I've had to pivot my business, especially. But yeah, I mean, virtual, same kind of thing. I mean, a lot of those chamber events or networking events are moving online, right? So you just got to find the right websites and the right groups that you're already part of and register for those groups. Like whether it's you jumping into a realtor group or insurance groups, or you want to be where a lot of people know a lot of people. The real estate realm is great because, everybody needs different services in those groups. So, look online where there's local things going on. In my networking group, Master Networks, we do monthly networking events online. So I know when they are, and that's where I am. And I put myself in on my calendar, but you got to find things that work best for you in the virtual world, and I know bars, restaurants are doing it too now. So if there are professional networking things, I would just call your local restaurants and see if they're putting on any events, or, ask people in the community that you're friends with, or, can get introduced to, and ask if there's any virtual networking events going on. But with that being said, I highly recommend you getting good at Zoom. I've kind of become a Zoom master in the last year, just from being on it every single day for multiple hours. And I run my networking group on Zoom myself, and I'm the president of the chapter. So I've just been able to navigate and keep people engaged, and we have 30 people in our chapter, so it's 30 professional business people that come on once a week for an hour to do a virtual networking event in the morning from 9 to 10. But I would recommend, some things that you really gotta treat it like a real meeting when you're online. So, Nia, just the way you showed up, you dress professionally, you speak well, like you showed up early. You got to still do those things on a virtual side, right? So I still treat it as I'm showing up in person, but all I'm doing is sitting in front of the computer. So you still want to show respect to the other person, by being a few minutes early, showing up, dressing the part. You don't want to be laying on the couch talking to somebody, in your pajamas, not showing interest. Like, those are huge turnoffs for me, right? Like, it just shows zero effort. You're not into what I'm saying. You don't want to listen to me. So dress the part is my first. Have a digital business card. So I create little templates on my computer that I can copy and paste right into the chat box of Zoom at the bottom here. So it has my name, it has my title, has my contact information, and I use Calendly to book face-to-faces. So if I really hit it off with that person, I just copy and paste my Calendly link into the chat, and I let that person know, hey, Naya, we really hit it off. We should set up another face-to-face. Here's access to my calendar. Pick the best day and time that works best for you and get in my calendar. So this way I'm always driving activity, and you're keeping yourself busy, and you're connecting with those that you want to connect with, right? So it's just being smart there and using the chat box of getting your contact information there so those people could reach out to you after the fact. So that's just a little tool that I use. Speak well, be prepared. Like, I still prepare for every single meeting that I have online. Like I said, treat it as a normal meeting. Like, you don't want to show up and, be drinking, an alcoholic drink while you're talking to somebody at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You want to be prepared for that person and get the most out of your meeting. And if it's an hour meeting, stick to the hour. If it's 30 minutes, stick to the 30 minutes and respect that person's time. It's very easy to get off track online with these virtual things because, there's so many distractions. If they're working from home, their kids are around, their pets are around. There could be loud noises. So you really got to dial that person in. If you come prepared and ask the right questions on that person, you'll get the most out of that meeting, and they'll respect you for that because, they know you're taking their time very seriously. So
Prepared and professional.
Yes.
And then what would you say are the benefits of networking?
Yeah, so a ton of benefits. I mean, for me, I'll be honest. I mean, I've never really had to apply for a job, so like when you get that good, like people end up knowing who you are, what kind of work that you do. What's that?
And then they will recommend you.
They recommend you, right? And like, if I'm in need of something, I'm able to make a phone call to my trusted contacts and say, hey, I'm looking for this type of role. Do you have anything within your company? And, 8 times out of 10, it's usually, hey, come in for an interview. I don't need your resume. Just come in and talk to me, and see if it's a good fit. So the job opportunities is number one for me because that's changed the game in my world of how I landed a VP role, here at New Beginnings Window and Door. So this is my first executive level management position in my career, and it's enlarged due to my network, right? And what I've done from a marketing perspective and get my name out there and my reputation. So that's really important. A large network is key. You never know when you're going to need somebody, right? You're the average of the 5 most people that you spend time around. So that's a big quote for you to add in. You're one relationship away from changing your future. And that happened to me, with New Beginnings Window and Door. Being able to jump into a vice president role has changed the game for me from a financial standpoint, from a time standpoint, being able to be around my family, being able to do my passions outside of work. I'm a baseball coach and love working with kids. So I'm able to do that. And just accessing opportunities right in your network. So, I can make a few phone calls and get in front of people that I've been wanting to get in front of because of my network. So if you network properly, you can actually call people that know those people that you want to get in front of to book that meeting for you. So I use that, I guess that cycle system of, hey, Mrs. Jones, at the flower store. I've been looking to meet with her, for a year now and haven't had any success of reaching her for business development purposes. And those contacts, 9 out of 10 will make that phone call for me or email and get me in front of that person, and it's a game changer for your career, to be able to sit in front of anybody that you really want to, right? And get your business out there. So, large network, being the hub. I look at it as a wheel on a bike. You become the centerpiece, and then you have spokes going out to different arenas that you're able to filter out. So now people call me when they need services, right? So I'm the trusted contact, but I get that phone call and it makes me look good. It looks the people that I send them to look good because they're trusted people of mine. So it's a win-win for everybody, right? The customer's happy. The strategic partner of mine is happy because they got a referral, and I'm happy because I got to send that customer to somebody that I know. So it's a triple win there of becoming that relationship-driven person, and being that point of contact that you can pass referrals out to people and give back because they're going to end up wanting to help you in the long run because you've been giving them business. So that's been a key piece for me as well. And then the last 2 pieces, I would say just growing friends. I mean, I've been able to turn those business relationships into some of my best friends over the last 10 years. So, it's people that I admire, people that I enjoy spending time around, and people that motivate you in your business. And that's changed the game for me 100%. So, and then just the business education, I've been able to, within Master Networks, I'm in a mastery program. So the mentor side and the coaching that I get on a monthly basis now, it's driven my business, up, 25%, because I invest in myself now, and I put myself around the right people, to continually being coachable, number one. And also I want to elevate my game and elevate everybody around me. So everybody in my networking group, 30 people, I treat them as family. So I want to see their businesses grow just as much as my business grow. And when you start sharing success on other people, that's when you really start seeing success in your own business because you're helping so many people outside the fact.
Right. Thank you for that, Stephen. And then now the next section we're going to get into is the question section. So I did a poll and gathered some questions from you guys, the viewers and the listeners. So the first question that I have for you, Stephen, is how do you find common topics to relate to the other person about?
Yep, great. That's a great way to start. If it's in person, so if I walk into their office or I walk into their business, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking around. So I'm noticing what's up on the wall. I'm knowing, first of all, if I'm going in, I did my prep work. So I know if they're a family owned business. I know if they're into sports, if they have their pets up on the wall. I'm a big dog person, so I use things that come to people easy, hobbies, whether it's, they got pictures of the beach up, or, look around. So be in the moment, right? Like, you want to engage in the environment you're walking into. If it's virtual, it's a little bit harder, right? Because you're not walking into anywhere, you're just jumping on a computer. But like I said, you could do that prep work. You can pull up, you could pull up their LinkedIn right before you meet with that person, and you could find out all the groups they're involved in, where they like to give back, right? Maybe that's a relational point where we both like kids and we both give back to the youth. I do that with my baseball. So, like, if I see somebody giving back to kids, that gets my heart, like, that's what I love. So sports, family, pets, hobbies, keep it really basic, but you want to look for something that you can relate to that person on, so you can start the conversation, right? And you should be asking about that person. You shouldn't be walking in saying, "Hey, I do this. I've accomplished this. I'm the president of my company." Like, literally get to know them and ask about them. And people like I said, people like to talk about themselves. So if you can find a way to get them talking, you just have to listen and grab. Be a good salesperson and be a good relationship person and understand where to take the conversation next.
So I think, in a nutshell, really just do your background work, do your research, and figure out different things about the person ahead of time, and that will make it much easier for the conversation in person.
Exactly. And it makes it go, and be yourself, right? Like, if you're funny and you have a good personality, just make sure you show that off, like, you want to let that person put their guard down too. So I always usually start off, not with too much of a joke, but, something funny, like break the ice, and that's the number one rule in networking. Like, make it comfortable for that other person.
Be comfortable and be authentic.
Be authentic, correct.
The next question someone asked is, what's the first step?
Yeah, I mean, first step of networking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think it's just like we've been talking about. It's creating the connection, and finding out who you want to speak to, why you want to speak to them, and what you want to get out of it, right? Like, some days I walk into meetings where, I want to get business from that person. Other times I just want to learn about them so I can send them business, so, like, have your end mind in place before you meet with them. And that may change, right? Like, you may tell me things that completely change my preparation, but you know what? That's a great relationship that I just gained, and now we can take our conversation to another level, and learn something else about each other to help one another, succeed. So first step is creating that connection and knowing who your ideal client is, right? Like, that's going to be key for you, so you know where to spend your time. In the networking world, right? Like, number one is relationship, but you do want to, business is part of it, right? So you want to be able to prove that you can get return on investment, especially if your company's paying for some of these groups, or, you're buying dinner, right? Or you're buying, you have to pay for the event. So you want to see your return on investment and make it worth your time. So that's the other piece to that is, you want to measure everything too. So every event that I go to, I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I actually track who I met, where if I got a referral from that group, where it came from, and at the end of the year, that's where I allocate my marketing dollars to on where I want to spend my time.
The next question is, how can I stand out when networking? And I think that's a really interesting.
It's an interesting question. It's probably the best one, though, in my opinion. Show your personality, okay? Like, that is huge. That is a game changer. The best master networkers are those that are themselves. They laugh, they joke, they're comfortable in front of people. They're not scared to say anything. They're not hiding in the corner. Go up to people and be proud of what you do, even if you're not up to their level. I know that's another question. But, just be approachable and want to talk to people, want to be passionate about what you do for a living. And I'm grateful and blessed to actually absolutely love what I'm doing. So, I can, I can talk about windows and doors for hours, if somebody wants me to. But I can also talk about baseball or the beach or working out or tattoos or, other things that I'm into, country music, for hours too. So just be yourself and let people, I would say, let people get to know you. Too many people put up that wall of personal versus business, right? Like you're scared to tell people personal things about you. You get to the next level, Naya, when you're able to feel comfortable in your own skin and talk about the things that are important to you. I talk about my son all the time, right? Like, my little guy is important to me. My wife's important to me. Sports are important to me. Like, I'm not just known for windows and doors. I'm known for Steven and who I am, what I'm about, what I like, in life. And those are the people that put themselves out there, are those that connect with a lot of people and, are master networkers.
It goes right back to being authentic.
Authentic, yep.
So that's really number one in networking. First rule is be authentic.
Yep.
Interesting. And then the last question here is, which apps should I be using to network? Actually, sorry, that's not the last question. But one of the questions is, which apps should I be using to network?
Yeah, so I mean, the social media game, but it keeps growing, right? So there's so many different things you could do today. For me personally, I recommend Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Alignable is another one if you're not on it. That's a business to business networking thing.
Alignable?
Alignable, ALIGNABLE. It's an app on your phone and you can subscribe. It's free, and then there's some paid versions if you want to upgrade it. But that's a business to business networking. LinkedIn is a great one. That's something a lot of businesses and professionals are on that, where you can reach out to people. I market myself on Snapchat. I use WhatsApp, for my networking group. We communicate through WhatsApp and we pass referrals through there. We pass connections. It's really unlimited, with the social media game today. Facebook's really huge now, to be able to connect with people and book meetings on and, connecting on a personal level. So I think it's wherever you feel comfortable. I would, again, recommend find, maybe pick 3 platforms that you can focus on and get good in, to be able to connect the dots between creating those relationships and bringing in business, and also getting personal friends out of it.
Maintaining those relationships as well.
Yes. And right after we get a relationship, you just started the relationship. So you got to maintain those relationships. That takes time and effort, which the better master networks know how to do. And that's constantly staying in front of people. A good tip that I learned in a text message, because we all use our phones, right, is go through your messages and start from 30 days back and pick 3 people a day and check in with them. So start at the bottom of your messages and work your way up. And those are the people that you could just keep reigniting those conversations and building those relationships. So over time, you end up becoming really close to those people and you constantly build those relationships. I mean, 10 years ago, I still talk to kids that I coached, when I was, when they were 10 years old, and now they're 21 years old. So it's pretty cool to see the transgression, and I'm still tight with their parents. Or if I sold something to somebody in my career, I'm still in contact with them till this day. So it's pretty cool when you get those phone calls and you see the life milestones of, hey, we've been friends for all these years, and you could see the value of that and what it does for your business. Like, I know my relationships will buy from me wherever I am. So those are trusted contacts and relationships that will always be a part of your family.
And going back to the apps, how could we forget Clubhouse?
Clubhouse was the other one. Good point. I've been starting to get good at that.
Big one too that recently released that I think everyone should be trying to leverage right now.
Yeah, and I love Clubhouse because it does leverage it leverages Instagram, it leverages your other platforms and gets people to kick to those platforms and really look into you. So I agree with that. And I love it that there's no video, right? We're all zoomed out sometimes. So it's nice to be able to sit on the call wherever you are and just dive in and listen to the people that are as smart as you or smarter, and learn good life and business knowledge.
For those that are a little bit shy, I think it's a great platform to step out and be a little bit bold. No one can see you. You're behind the
Yes.
scene and you just talk, and they can hear the way you speak, the way you think, and you can make connections from there and bring those connections to LinkedIn and bring it to Instagram and the other social media platforms, and then keep up the relationship.
Yeah, I'm big, and I'm big on momentum, right? Like, I talk momentum and environment are huge for me. So, like you said, start small. If you go on Clubhouse and you get good with your voice, you start hearing other people talk, you can learn from that. And then you get more comfortable, then you go to LinkedIn and then you start messaging people and you ask for face-to-faces or a coffee meeting or a Zoom meeting. It just takes time, but when it becomes a habit, that's when you really get to the next level and you start booking, face-to-faces every week to grow your network. So that's where it becomes part of your job, part of who you are, and that's when you're going to see fruits from that.
Right. And so the last thing that I want to touch on is the advice section. So these are the persons that actually have said that they do have difficulty networking, and I asked them for the reason behind that. So the first reason expressed here is that the person said, sometimes I feel intimidated because I am not on the level the other person is on.
Yeah, that's the biggest question out there, right? I mean, and I had to deal with this in my career many times. It's really just stepping into that uncomfortable role, right? Like that we were talking about. You got to just move past it. And if somebody's more successful than you, you can always go up to them and praise them and give them a compliment on their business, right? Like, goes back to what I said, people like to talk about themselves. But also, those are the people I want to be in the room with that I admire or respect, that are at a level that I want to be at. But guess what? I want to pick their brain and I want to get to know them and learn some highly effective habits that I can integrate into my world to be able to constantly get better and be competitive and take my game to the next level. So if you go into it, with get rid of the timidness, but just have some good questions, that you can go up and ask and you're not annoying them, where, maybe you read their book, right? Like, and you can go up to them and say, hey, I read your book. I really love chapter 5 in this section when you talked about this. It's really being detail oriented though. So you see what I just did there? I picked a chapter. I picked an actual part in the book. You're not going up there saying, oh, I loved your book. I know who you are, but not really. Then you come off, not educated, and they're not going to give you the time of day. So it's really important to just find out a little bit more about them, like I said, before you go to the event, and have a game plan. It's okay to have a game plan, and that game plan could change, but you need to go there looking to meet those people, because you'll be surprised at how many successful people that are above you will actually take the time and talk to you if you approach them the right way. So I think it's just getting over that fear of, and like I said, maybe go with somebody. If you're really uncomfortable, bring one of your friends or another business professional that you created a relationship with and walk over with them together and try to get to know that person, and go back to my hint with the sports or family or pets or hobbies that that person's into, and you'll be surprised. I think people naturally want to engage with each other. It's just, going about it the right way and breaking the ice, right, that we talked about before. So that's key.
Thank you. The next concern is, I am not very open to speaking with strangers, as well as I don't feel like I have the skill set.
Yep. So number one, it's confidence, right? I mean, I just go back to confidence. So if that's where you're at right now, I would highly recommend you got to do some reading, on self-development. You got to listen to some business podcasts or entrepreneurial podcasts. I listen to John Lee Dumas every day, Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's one of the best podcasts out there. So every morning on my way to work, I listen to that. They get me fired up. I feel like I could talk to anybody after that podcast. So you gotta start your days off with some positivity in your life. And whether that's faith, whether that's some kind of podcast or reading or taking a walk or working out in the morning, get yourself in a good mindset so you can start your day with the right vibes and not be scared or timid. And that would be the biggest thing that I would recommend, is come up with a morning routine and an evening routine to wind yourself down at night, and also in the morning to gain confidence and master that self-awareness of building up your confidence so nothing scares you. I'm a big risk taker, so I've been through those experiences where I got shut down from those higher level people, or lost a job, or been in that situation where I've been down, and I've been in those situations where I've been very successful. So I've been humbled. So it's important to get those experiences, go at it. It's a loss is not a loss; it's a learned experience. So go in it with the right vibe and the right persistence. And if you fail, you learn for the next time, and that's how we all get better at anything that we do. You have to fail in order to succeed. So keep that in mind. So I relate it to baseball, where if you get 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're an all-star. But guess what? You failed 7 times. So you still got to go through those experiences. And when you're in that place, just take a deep breath and get your momentum and composure back, and go back right out to your goal. Everybody deserves to be happy and to go after their goals and achieve their dreams. And I think that's really important. And you got to have a support staff behind you. Whether it's the company you're working for, that you can go to your mentor. My boss is my biggest mentor, in my career right now. And people just that you respect, that, hey, I went to this meeting, I didn't get a good result on it. How could I adjust my game plan so next time I could succeed? And you got to be coachable. So that's the biggest thing, and not take the losses as losses.
Okay. The last one is, I am shy and reserved. I find it hard putting myself out there and meeting new people.
Another great question, right? I mean, it just comes with experience. You got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations and push yourself through it. It's like learning how to ride a bike or learning how to play a sport. You're going to struggle in the beginning, right? It's going to be hard every day. But if you get up and you do it every single day, it's going to become easier. I relate it to the gym, of waking up early every day. I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, but you do it every day, it becomes a habit. And then you get more and more comfortable, and then you want to stretch even more and more further with those skill sets. And that's where the fear starts to disappear, and it becomes a habit and becomes part of your day, it becomes part of the regular. I would lean on people that you respect, though. Like I mentioned, get a business mentor. Business mentorship is vital for young professionals. It's vital for high-level executives. It's vital for anybody in business. You need somebody to feed off of. You need somebody to push you constantly. It's why celebrities get personal trainers, right? Like it's to constantly push you to get to the next level and succeed in life.
You mentioned mentorship, and I hear about it a lot, but I myself don't even actually know, how do I go about seeking a mentor?
Yep. So you can actually go through your local chamber of commerce. Sometimes they have local programs for you, youth leadership, or a mentor-mentee type program. Or honestly, once you get comfortable, reach out to people, and they don't even have to be in your own industry. I recommend that they're not in your own industry, because then they can give you a different perspective on life and business. So once you get comfortable, or go through your network of contacts, reach out to these people and ask if they would be willing to be your mentor. Or you can research, life coaches. I have a ton of connections in the life coaching world, but you can search on Google, you can search on the internet. So the help is out there. You just got to find the right help. And I think that's important. And like through my networking organization, they offer different mentor programs, and I take part in one once a week that I pay for, and I get the mentorship that I need.
Okay. Thank you for that, Stephen, because I was not too sure about that. And I know that you
Or
have.
I meant to say too, or your school. I would, if you're in college or high school, I would go to your advisor department, and ask them if they can send you in the right direction and can help with a mentor or mentee.
That's a good tip right there. To just simply ask your advisor. Never thought about that.
It's and you'd be surprised, Naya. Like if when you ask for help, people naturally want to help. So somebody will know somebody. That's the power of networking, right? And you will magically, when you put it out to the universe, it'll magically happen. And that's how I fell into this role. So it's just you got to really believe in it and put yourself out there. Talk to people. Don't be scared to ask for what you're looking for. Hey, I'm looking for a mentor in my career at this point. Do you know anybody? Put it out there on social media. You'll be surprised on who reaches out to you.
Thank you. And then just lastly, I just want to talk about master networks. So, for those who are in the United States, I know that you had mentioned that there is a chapter there's 50 different chapters, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there's over 50 different chapters. There's, I believe, 3 or 4 thousand members now.
Right.
Uh, I'm in the New York region, so I think we have 450 members. But it's a national organization, so they provide support for local business entrepreneurs, business professionals. We connect, we share, we prosper. They provide educational workshops on a quarterly basis, for all of its members. There's no age limit, so you could be in college. They give you different options to pay, whether it's monthly or yearly. So they make it very affordable, and you get to be around some of the most dynamic business people in the country. And actually, in April, I'm going to the national convention where they put on big national, and I'm actually going to be one of the speakers on coaching. But you're able to network with countrywide all the Master Network members, so you get to really be around a bunch of mentors, a bunch of dynamic people that could help you get to the next level. And they put on guest speakers. We have a whole 3-day ceremony of this event once per year. And then the local chapters put on events too. So they do evening events. They do with the chapters or cross chapters. We do regional mixers. So we do educational tidbits, in our meetings. So you learn about business, you learn about life in these tidbits in our hour meetings every week. So you can really level up your game if you surround yourself around the right people that have the same mindset. And that's something that I'm really big on as well.
Thank you for that, Stephen. So if you don't know what Master Networks is, Stephen just explained this a little bit for you. Feel free to also go online and look it up. I think it's a very unique way to be a part of a group of master networks. And then you can become a master network.
It's www.masternetworks.com. So if you want some more information, or you can reach out to me at any time.
And so, Stephen, where can people find you? Because maybe some may have questions for you as well. So where can we connect with you?
Yep. So I'm a heavy user of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm on Snapchat as well, or email. Instagram, it's just Stephen R. Orefice with the @ symbol. Facebook, I'm the same thing, Stephen R. Orefice. LinkedIn as well. I keep my brand very similar across all my platforms so people can find me. And I have a marketing degree, so it's important to me for branding purposes. But yeah, and then I operate New Beginnings Window and Door, so you can check out my window and door channels for more information too. It's www.mbwindow.com for all products and services that I offer. You can shoot me an email at Stephen, STEPHEN, @nbwindow.com. If you want to reach out to me directly, and I can also give you my cell phone when you reach out.
There you have it. So Stephen said, don't be shy, reach out to him. So again, Stephen, thank you so much today for sharing all these different tips on how to master the art of networking. I know people are shy, and one of the biggest takeaway that I got from this was to be confident. and to be authentic and to be intentional, and also not just to go in and try to take away, but try to give as well and have and create a authentic connection with the person, and not just try to do a business transaction, not be transactional, but just create a, you never know what can happen from the connection that you make with the person.
Those are great takeaways, Nine. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. And, since we met the first time, you really impressed me with your age and where you're going. So keep up the great work.
Thank you, Stephen. And thank you to all my listeners now. Yes, I said listeners because we're on different podcast platforms. And thank you to all my viewers who tuned in today. I will see you in the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends and family and anyone you believe that would benefit from this video and podcast. That's a little different for me. But I'll see you in the next video or podcast, and take care.